thanks again for joining me today. If this is your first time with me, my name is Erica, and I'll be leading us through a beginner's vinyasa style yoga class today. So if you're unfamiliar, in my classes, we start off pretty slow before we build up some heat in the body, and eventually we'll tie poses together into a flow with an emphasis on the breath. In a beginner style, I don't assume that you know the poses. We take some time talking about alignment to get where we need to go. So before we get started, I just want to remind everyone to always listen to your body. And if you have any existing medical conditions, make sure you check with a doctor before you start any exercise regimen. So today, if you were with me last week, all about spinal twist. Today, all about legs. So a little bit of toning, an emphasis on lengthening, and relieving any tension that we're holding there. We're going to get started in a seated position facing the front of the mat. Legs extended down the mat, and we'll start with our feet flexed. Place your hands on either sides of your body and find some length through your spine. We're going to start by just taking a few breaths here. Give me at least 3 breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. If you find it hard to keep the spine long here, gently bend the knees, keeping heels to mat. Maybe you'll find a little bit of ease and lift in the spine. With the right foot, slowly begin to point the toes. So one foot is flexed and one foot is pointing. And then return to flex. We're going to do the same thing with the left toes, pointing through the toes and returning to flex. So taking one foot at a time. Switching from stretching the front side of the leg with the point to the back side of the leg with the flex. And then find some stillness with both feet flexed. Draw the right heel in towards the body, lowering the knee towards the floor. We'll gently bend the left knee, keeping heel to mat. Again, find the length through the spine. Draw the belly back to the back side of the body. Lift the arms overhead, gaze up towards the ceiling, and we'll lower into a fold. So belly drops down to thighs, hands to mat. Nice deep breaths here. Keep the foot flexed. We want to prioritize the length in the spine and our forward fold. So if your belly's really far from the thigh and you notice your spine is rounding, bring the thigh to the belly instead. Few more breaths here. Slowly rise back to seated and extend both legs down the length of the mat. Left heel draws in, slight bend in the extended leg. Lift both arms overhead, take a nice deep breath in, and exhale into fold, belly to thighs. Gaze is down towards the mat. Nice, steady breaths. Slowly rise back to seated and extend the left leg down the length of the mat. Separate the legs to Upavista Konasana. So legs are separated and we don't need too much space here. Just a little will do. Place the fingertips behind you and find the length in the spine once again. If you need a little less sensation in the legs here, slight bend in the knee. If you want a little more sensation here, send the chest forward, walking fingertips in towards the body. Keep feet flexed. Gaze is down towards the mat. Take some deep breaths here. So not only are we lengthening our spine and our legs, now we're opening the hips a little as well. Bring both legs back together into the center of the mat and bend the knees, placing feet flat to floor. Find some length in your spine. Hold onto your legs for some support and drop chin to chest. Start some neck circles in a clockwise direction, nice and slow. Give me about 3 circles in this direction. I'm on my last circle now. And then meet with chin back to chest. Reverse direction, so counterclockwise. About 3 circles in this direction as well. Starting my last circle now. And we'll meet with chin to chest. Lift your gaze and look forward. Then swing the legs behind you and come into a tabletop position. Wrists stacked under shoulders and knees stacked under hips. If you feel any discomfort in your wrist here, walk the hands slightly forward. Slowly round the spine into cat pose, tucking chin to chest. And slowly arching into cow, gaze up to the ceiling. A few times back and forth at your own pace, rounding the spine and arching and lifting. We'll stick with this for about another 10 seconds or so. Try to deepen your breath. Then relax into neutral. Extend your right leg behind you, pointing through the toes, lining up heel to hip. Lift out of the shoulders, draw belly back to spine, and we'll hold for a few breaths here. Gentle toning in the legs and in the core. Starting to warm up the body just a bit. Lift up to the fingertips and give me a crunch, drawing right knee to chest, rounding the spine, pulling the belly in and stepping the foot through into lunge, ankle right below the knee. If the foot doesn't quite get where you need to, manually place it into alignment. Make sure the left toes are uncurled so top of foot is to mat. Slowly begin to shift the hips towards the back of the mat. As you do, right foot lifts off the mat, heel stays in contact. As my hips come back, I'm sending my chest forward and drawing my belly in until I get a stretch here on the back side of the right hamstring. We'll take a few breaths here in this modified half split. Maybe you're feeling a little sensation in the left hip and knee as well. We'll rock forward and bring right foot flat to mat, ankle over knee. Tuck left toes back onto the mat. Lift the left knee into the air, lift the fingertips, send the chest forward. Lower left knee and uncurl the toes. One more time. Toes tuck, knee lifts, draw the belly in, chest forward. Drop the knee and uncurl the toes. Hands flat to mat. Draw the breath in through your nose, lift right arm overhead, draw belly in. Exhale out through the mouth, hand lowers to the mat. Nice slow movements and deep breaths. Draw the breath in, right arm up. Exhale. One more time, breath in and breath out. Extend the right leg long behind you, point through the toes, and return to tabletop. Left leg extends behind you, pointing through the toes, heel in line with hip. Lift out of the shoulders and activate the core. Make sure you're gazing down towards the mat, keeping the spine nice and long through the tailbone all the way to the back of the neck. Lift up to the fingertips. Give me a crunch, knee to chest, round the spine, and step the foot through to lunge. Shift the hips back into our half split variation. So left foot flexes, belly draws in, spine lengthens. Take a few breaths here. Come back to lunge, foot is flat. Deep breath in through the nose, left arm up to the ceiling, gaze is up. Exhale out through the mouth, hand down to the mat. Deep breath in and arm up. Exhale out, arm down. Last time, deep breath in through the nose, filling up the chest. Exhaling slowly out through the mouth. Extend left leg behind you, pointing through the toes and returning to tabletop. Settle into child's, hips to heels, arms down the length of the mat, forehead to mat. We'll finish our warm up here with a few deep breaths. Breathe deeply onto the back side of the body. If you feel discomfort in your hips or your knees, rise back to tabletop and settle into a puppy variation with elbows to mat. Stacked under the shoulders, gazing down between the elbows. You're more than welcome to take this variation instead of child's. Let's take our last few breaths here, make them nice and deep. And rise back to tabletop. Tuck both toes onto the mat. Spread the fingers nice and wide, preparing for down dog. Lift out of the shoulders and draw the belly in. If you're familiar with down dog, go ahead and lift the hips now and wait for me there. If you're new, you'll start by lifting the knees off the mat. As I lift the hips up to the ceiling, I'm lifting out of the shoulders and bringing my belly back towards the thighs. Knees stay bent for now. Hips keep reaching high. Upper arms slightly turn inwards. We're going to work here. Take a few deep breaths. Gaze is down towards the toes. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Look forward and step your right foot into lunge. Again, manually place it there if you need to get it into alignment. Step up to half lift. Left foot steps up to the right. Hands to shins, flattening the back. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Lower to fold, bending the knees, dropping belly to thighs, arms and head hang heavy. Let's take a few breaths here. Keep the hips reaching high to the ceiling. Keep low belly drawing in. Keep the spine lengthening towards the floor and the weight in the balls of the feet. Try shifting a little side to side, moving from the belly. And we're just allowing gravity to decompress our spine here. Tuck your chin into the chest and slowly, one vertebrae at a time, round up to a standing position. Nice and slow. We don't want to get lightheaded. We had a lot of blood come into our head and forward fold. Once you're up, lift the chin from the chest last and stand nice and tall at your mat. Shoulders relax down the back, lifting through the sides of the body and the chest. Make sure your feet are hips width distance apart and you're standing at the top of your mat. Lift the arms overhead, gaze is up. We'll hold here, starting our sun salutations. Lower to forward fold, bending the knees, belly back to the thighs. Rise, half lift, flat in the back, hands to shins. step into a plank position. So a traditional plank. Bend the knees, plant the hands on the mat, and step back into a plank position. Drop the knees and uncurl the tops of the toes. Lean forward so shoulders are out past the wrist. Bring chest down to mat. Keep elbows close to body and then hips come down. Fingers are in line with the crease of the armpit. Elbows pointing up to the ceiling. Lift the chest using the strength of your core into baby cobra. No pressure in the hands. Now slowly press to child's, hips to the heels. And take a breath or two here. To make our way back to standing, we'll rise to a tabletop position. Prepare for down dog. Tuck the toes and spread the fingers wide. Lift the hips up to the ceiling. If you're a beginner, knees stay bent, belly back towards the thighs. Take a few deep breaths here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. If the knees are bent, try straightening one leg, pressing the heel down towards the floor, and then return to the bent knee. Trying the same on the opposite side. Look forward and step your left foot up to lunge. Step up to half lift, flat back, hands to shins. Lower to fold, belly to thighs. And rise to standing, nice and slow. Take your time. Arms overhead, same thing again. Lower to forward fold, belly to thighs. Rise half lift, back flat, and step into plank. Drop the knees, uncurl the toes. Lean forward, bend the elbows close to body, flat to mat. Lift the chest to baby cobra, use the core, and press to child's, hips to heels. Slowly rise to tabletop. Lift the hips to down dog. Knees can stay bent for a little bit of ease. Take a few breaths here. Bring some attention to your hands, making sure you're not pressing only into the palms of the hand. Try to distribute the weight through the top of the palm and out through the pads of the fingers. Look forward. Step right foot up to lunge. Step up to half lift. And lower to fold, belly to thighs. Nice and slow, we rise to standing. One last time through. Sun salutation, speed up the heart and warm up the body. Lift the arms overhead. Lower to forward fold. Rise to half lift. And step back into plank. Drop knees to mat, lean forward and lower down. Lift chest to baby cobra and press to child's. As soon as the hips touch the heels, rise right back to tabletop, no rest this time, and find your down dog, hips up to ceiling. Nice deep breath, in through the nose, and out through the mouth. Step your left foot up to lunge. Step up to half lift, hands to shins, and lower to fold. Slowly rise to standing, one vertebrae at a time. Take one hand to your heart and one to your belly. Lower your chin to chest. Take a few breaths here. Notice your heart rate. Bring attention to any sensation you feel in your body. And lower your hands down by your sides. Again, making sure you're at the top of the mat, feet hips width distance apart. Again, the arms lift overhead. We're going to switch it up a little bit this time. Lower to forward fold, belly to thighs. Rise to half lift. Step back into plank. And pause in a tabletop position, knees to mat and toes uncurled. Extend the right leg behind you, point through the toes, heel in line with hip. And lift up to the fingertips. Give me a crunch, knee to chest, and step the foot through to lunge. Tuck left toes onto mat and get the knee in the air, draw belly in, send chest forward. Take a few breaths here, pressing out through the left heel. Make sure right knee stays stacked right over the ankle. Drop the knee and uncurl the toes. Send the hips back into our half split variation, flexing the right foot, drawing belly in, lengthening the spine. Rock right back to lunge, foot flat and knee lifts. Bring hands to thighs, lifting the chest, and extend the arms overhead into Anjaneyasana. Take a few breaths here, breathing into the chest, relaxing the shoulders down the back, keeping the belly drawing in nice and active. Open up to the left side of the mat, coming into five-pointed star, feet flat and arms at shoulder height. Hold your pose here. Turn both feet forward. Then right foot turns to the front of the mat, and we bend the knee into warrior two, stacking it right over the ankle. Make sure hips and shoulders stay facing towards the long side of the mat. Gaze out towards the right middle finger. Warrior two is a great hip opener, so if you don't feel enough opening in the hips, I want you to widen your stance. If you choose to widen the stance, make sure you're still pressing firmly into the pinky edge of your left foot. And we're all still breathing. Straighten the right leg. Slowly begin to reach out towards the front of your mat and side bend into triangle. So right arm down and left arm up. Gaze is up towards the ceiling. Try to resist the urge of your left hip poking out to the back side of the mat. Make sure that hip stays tucked under, in line with the left leg. Left ribs stay reaching high towards the ceiling. Slowly lift up right and return to warrior two, right knee bends. Windmill the arms into lunge. As I windmill arms down, left heel rotates off the mat. Step back into a plank position. Drop the knees and uncurl the toes. Lean forward, bringing the belly down to the mat. Lift the chest to baby cobra and press the child's hips to heels. Take a little bit of a breather here. Nice deep breaths into the back side of the body. And remember, if you're uncomfortable in child's pose, you can always take the puppy variation on the elbows. Slowly rise to tabletop and find down dog, hips up to ceiling. Deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Look forward, stepping the right foot up to lunge. Inhale as you step into half lift. Exhale for forward fold. Try to draw out the inhale as you rise up to standing, nice and slow. Exhaling once you get to the top. Lift the arms back overhead, gaze is up. Lower to folds, belly to thighs. Rise, half lift. Step into plank. and drop knees to tabletop, pausing here. Extend the left leg behind you, point through the toes. Lift up to fingertips. Give me a crunch, knee to chest, and step the foot through to lunge. Right knee lifts off the mat, draw belly in, send chest forward. Right knee lowers, uncurl the toes. Shift the hips back into our half split variation. No hold, rock forward, foot flat, right knee lifts. Bring hands to thighs and extend to Anjaneyasana, arms overhead. Open up to the right side of your mat, feet flat, arms at shoulder height. Turn both feet forward. Left foot turns to the front of the mat, and we bend the knee into Warrior Two. If you widen your stance on the opposite side, do the same here, making sure not to lose contact with the pinky edge of the right foot this time. Few deep breaths into chest. Straighten the left leg, reach out to the front of your mat, and lower into triangle, right arm up to the ceiling. Nice deep breaths into the chest. Slowly rise upright and return to Warrior Two, knee bends. Windmill the arms to lunge, right heel lifts off the mat. Step back into a plank position, drop the knees and lower down nice and slow. Lift the chest to baby cobra and press to child's hips to heels. Short breather here. Slowly rise to tabletop and lift the hips to down dog. Remember, knees can stay bent if you need some ease. Keep belly drawing back to the thighs. Take nice deep breaths. Look forward and step your left foot up to lunge. Inhale as you find half lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale as you rise to standing. Leave your arms by your sides. Place your hands at your hips and find some length through your spine. Nice deep breaths. We're going to move into a bit of balance. We'll start today with the Warrior Three variation. So a forward fold, hinging at the hips. We're going to stop with the chest parallel to the floor. Shift all the weight into your right foot and step your left foot back behind you on the tippy toes. With our standing leg, try not to lock the joint. Slight micro bend in the legs. We rely on the muscle to hold us up rather than our joint. And we'll take our hands around front, bringing hands together, prayer hands. So option one here is to float the left toes off the mat as much as you can and lower them back down for the extent of the exercise. Option two is to continue lifting the leg until heel is in line with hip, toes facing down towards the floor, and see if you can hold it here. Find length out through the crown of your head, out through the left heel. Keep the belly drawing to the ceiling. We'll hold for a few breaths here. If you want a bit of a challenge, try extending the arms behind you like airplane wings, palms face down towards the floor. Few more breaths, really strengthening that standing leg. If you brought the hands behind you, bring them back to heart center, and we'll all rise up to standing. So step the toes down, and then step back to the top of the mat. Bend the knees, give that standing leg a break. We're going to shift the weight into the left foot now. We're going to switch poses as well. For standing head to knee, your option is to lift the right knee up towards the hips and then lower them back down towards the floor as many times and as slowly and steadily as you can for the remainder of the exercise. Option 2 is to lift that knee and grab a hold of the knee and see if you can hold for a few breaths here. Again, making sure not to lock out the joint in the left leg. Keep left glute nice and tight, lift through the chest. If you've got a hold of your knee and you want to challenge, try taking the interlaced hands, placing them on the ball of the foot. If you try this, still stand up nice and tall, drawing the belly in. Few more breaths here. Think nice strong legs, nice strong quads, calves, glutes. If hand is on the foot, bring it back to the knee and we'll step our foot down to the mat. Bend those knees, give the standing legs a break. We're going to do all that on the opposite side. Let's shift weight right into the right foot once again. We'll start with standing head to knee. So again, lifting the knee and dropping the toes to the floor. Otherwise, you're holding hold of the knee, keeping the foot flexed and length through the chest. If you're trying the challenge, hands to the ball of the foot, keeping the length in the spine, standing up nice and tall. Steady breaths. If the hand's on the foot, bring it back to the knee and step the foot down to the mat. Last one, weight shifts back into the left foot. We'll start with hands at hips. Hinge forward halfway and step the right foot behind you onto the tippy toes. Hands come around to heart center. Lifting the right leg behind you, toes down towards the mat. If you extended the arms on the opposite side, try here. Maybe you notice one side's a little easier to balance on than the other. If arms are extended, bring them back to heart center. Everyone bring your toes to the mat and step to the top. Arms down by your sides. Deep breath in through the nose, lift the arms overhead. Exhale out through the mouth as arms swoop down by your sides, nice and slow. Again, deep breath in. Slow breath out. Last time, breath in. Exhale to fold, belly to thighs. Inhale, half lift. Exhale as you find your plank position and hold here. Don't hold the breath. We're going to aim to hold 10 seconds here, just creating a little strength in the body. If you're tired, you're more than welcome to lower down to the belly and wait for us there. We're holding. Drop the knees to the mat and slowly find your belly. We'll take a rest period here. Arms along the sides of the body, palms face up. Head turns to one side so you can rest on your cheek. Bring toes together and let heels fall out. Close the eyes if you're comfortable doing so. Just take advantage of this little rest, even if you're not tired in your body. A little bit of stillness and focus on the breath is good for the body and good for the mind. Slowly turn your head to the opposite side, resting on your cheek. Bring your chin to mat and open the eyes if they were closed. Turn hands palm down, face down to the floor, and draw the heels back together, so legs should be touching. For half locust with the right leg, we're going to stretch it long behind us and then lift it up into the air, drawing the belly back to the spine. So not only strengthening the low back and the core, but toning the leg as well. We'll hold for a few breaths here. Maybe chest slightly lifts off the mat. Try to keep the neck long, so gazing down towards the floor. Lowering the leg and lowering the chin. Same thing with the left leg. Stretch it nice and long behind you. Lift it up. Gazes down towards the floor. Holding here. Don't hold your breath. And we lower leg, lower chin. Make sure the legs are together and they're touching. Draw the breath in through the nose, lifting the chest, pressing down and back on the hands. Exhale out through the mouth, chest down to the floor. Inhale, lift the chest. If you want a little more, lift the arms. Exhale out the mouth, come back down to the mat. Last time, breath in, chest lifts. Exhale to lower. Bend the knees and slowly windshield wiper the feet to break up any tension we might have built up in our low backs. Let the feet fall side to side, nice and slow. Then lowering the legs back to the mat, placing hands under shoulders, pressing into child's pose, hips to heels. Bring the arms along the sides of your body into rounded child's pose, palms face up, and shoulders roll down towards the floor. Slowly begin to lift the chest upright. Swing the legs around front so you're sitting flat on your sits bones and legs are down the length of the mat. Keep the feet flexed, lift arms overhead, drop chin to chest and around the spine into rounded back stretch, hands to the knees. Shoulders roll away from the ears. We'll take a few breaths here, giving a nice long stretch to the spine. Slowly lift the spine upright once again. Placing hands at your sides, find some length through your spine for a counter stretch before relaxing into neutral. Bend the right knee, placing foot to mat. Left arm holds onto the bent knee. We'll spinal twist to the right, placing the right hand directly behind us, looking out over right shoulder. Keep the spine nice and long towards the ceiling and belly drawing in. Slowly unwind, coming back to center. Let's switch sides. Left knee bends and right arm holds on. Opening the twist, looking out over left shoulder. Slowly unwind and straighten the leg. Let's separate the legs back to Uttanasana Konasana. Hands behind you, feet flexed. Remember, you can always bend the knees for a little ease. From here, bend the right knee, bringing heel close to the body. Left hand crosses over to the bent knee, so into a gentle twist here. Gazing out over the right shoulder. Maybe adding a little stretch for the left leg, with an added twist. Slowly unwind, leg straightens. Left knee bends, heel close to body. Right hand crosses over, opening the twist. Slowly unwind. Extend the leg. Bring bottoms of feet together into Baddha Konasana, pressing firmly into the pinky edges of the toes. The closer you draw the heels in towards the body, the more sensation you're going to feel in the hips. Wiggle the hips back, let the chest come forward, find length in the spine, and gaze softly down towards the floor. Round the spine, tucking chin to chest. And lift and find some length. One more time, round in the spine. And finding length. Place your hands on the outsides of the knees and draw them together like you're closing a book. Make sure you're sitting in the center of your mat if you're not already there. Place hands on the back of your thighs and slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time until you're flat on your back. Separate the feet till they're mat width distance apart. Let knees fall in. Place your arms nice and wide at shoulder height, palms face up. As we begin to slow down the practice and come to a close, we slow down our movement. Try closing the eyes and following the rise and fall of your chest for the next 10 seconds or so. Eyes can stay closed if you're comfortable. Go ahead and straighten your legs onto the mat. Lift your arms overhead. Give me a nice long stretch, stretching out the toes and the fingertips, and then relaxing your arms down by your sides. Draw the right knee in towards the chest for Apanasana. Take a hold at the knee. Pull the thigh close to the body and keep the feet flexed. Slowly release the right leg and bring the opposite knee into the chest. Thigh close to body, feet flexed. Release the leg onto mat. Draw both knees into the chest. Once again, pulling thighs close to body, feet side by side. If you feel any discomfort here on the knees, you can hold on to the back of the thighs instead. Take some nice deep breaths. If the hands are not already on the backs of the thighs, go ahead and place them there now. Extend the legs up to the ceiling into our inversion. Hands on the back of the thighs for a little support. Try to line the heels up over the hips. And we'll hold for about 30 seconds here. If you need any ease of the legs, try bending the knees, drawing thighs close to body, but still keeping the heels elevated to the ceiling. Still getting the benefits of the inversion, improving circulation, inducing relaxation. The extra blood flow towards our heads helps to relax our nervous system, calming the rest of the body down. Last few breaths here. Draw the knees completely in towards the body, lowering heels down towards the body as well. Lower the knees to the right side of the body into reclined spinal, knees and feet stacked on top of one another. Arms at shoulder height, palms face up, head turns to the left. This is our last pose before our final resting pose. It's a great time to close the eyes. And prepare yourself for final resting pose by bringing your attention to your breath. Slowly lift the knees back to the center of the body. Let them fall to the opposite side. Head turns to the right. Knees back to center. Wrap your arms around the legs, pulling them close to your body. Slowly lift your head to meet your knees. Take a nice deep breath in, hold it at the top. Slowly exhale, releasing the hold on your legs to lay flat on your mat. Separate your legs and arms nice and wide. Palms face up, toes fall out, and eyes closed. We'll settle in here for our final rest period. Bring the attention to your breath. Don't change the pattern of your breath. Just follow the rise and fall of the chest. Let any thoughts pass freely. Let every exhale release tension from your body and stress from your life. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Welcome movement back to the body. Slowly roll over to the right side of your body, taking a moment of stillness on your side. Use your arm as a pillow. Keeping your eyes closed, slowly press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. To finish class, we'll take 3 cleansing breaths together as one, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. This week, we'll fill up the breath as much as we can, hold it at the top for a breath, and exhale smoothly out through the mouth. So let's start on an exhale, drawing all the breath you have out of the body. Slowly inhale through the nose, filling up the body, holding at the top. And exhaling slowly out the mouth. Again, drawing breath in through the nose, filling up, holding at the top, and exhaling. Make this your deepest breath yet. Draw in the breath, filling up the body, filling up, holding at top, and exhaling to release. Take a second to thank yourself and your body for getting you through practice. And I thank you for letting me lead you on this practice today. Namaste. So as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this class today. If you're looking for something a little slower pace and less demanding on the body, check out my stress relief class on Sunday at 11. And I'll be here teaching this style every Friday at 10. Thanks so much. Hope to see you next time.